Welcome back. The intraday recovery continues on the markets. We're just down about 86 points. At one point of time, the Nifty had dropped to levels of 18,200. From there, we've recovered, pulled back close to about 140 points. Stocks which are inching up include Reliance Industries, so that big boy is contributing. Apart from that, you've got Axis Bank, ITC, Adani Enterprises, a couple of these metal names as well, like Hindalco, which are inching up from the day's low. Broadly, IT has done pretty well. The Nifty IT index, in fact, is now back in the green. Just pull up the intraday charts of TCS as well as Infosys, and you would see the recovery that we've been seeing ongoing through the course of the trading session. PSU banks, on the other hand, continue to languish in trade. The Nifty PSU banking index is down 1%, with names like UCO Bank, Indian Overseas Bank, Central Bank, Bank of Maharashtra, all showing you pretty steep losses. UCO Bank is now down close to about 8%. FACT, this was a stock that you were referring to where you are seeing a lot of momentum. 10% up today and 100% in the month of December. So the stock has doubled in a matter of just 2 weeks. And paper stocks are seeing some traction today. So I guess the rotation trade is intact. And now the favorite for the day appears to be paper. Malu Paper Mills up 20%. Sri Rama Newsprint 6%. Orient Paper is up 3.5%. JK Paper has rallied. Another company called Astron Paper, that's also up close to about 19%. So that's another pocket which is hotting up as we speak. But Hemang is still with us. Hemang, of course, the big newsmaker of the day has to be Bank of Japan, and its tweaking of the policy has caused the yen to appreciate greatly. Now, one of the impacted stocks would be Maruti. Now, Maruti has benefited on account of the yen depreciation. If that cycle has to turn, what could be the adverse impact on Maruti?
So our take is that the total remittance by Maruti is in the range of about 2.5 to 3% of the top line. Plus, there is a certain degree of import which they do. So it's very difficult to gauge the exact impact because you don't know how long this yen dollar parity is going to play out. But we see this definitely as an incremental negative for Maruti, and you might see a little bit of underperformance come through. So we would really wait for some sort of a correction there. But overall, our view on the Maruti, particularly passenger vehicle, continues to be positive. And we think that, notwithstanding this development, the overall growth story with some degree of margin improvement, that remains intact.
The other space is PSU banks, and I was just looking at the numbers. The index itself is down some 7.5%. From last Tuesday's high. Stocks, of course, are down between 11 and 15%. I'm assuming a lot of people would have got into the frenzy, right? And would be wondering whether it's time to get off. This is just a temporary halt, pullback, and, good times will roll again. What's your advice, Hemang?
So, Prashant, just to give you a perspective, the PSU banks have been one of the best performing sector. Year till date, it is up 72%, whereas the Nifty is up only 7%. And in the last leg of this rally, we had seen frenzied buying and euphoria from retail across all the PSU names. And typically, when you see that, there tends to be some sort of correction, and people do get a little stuck. So our sense is that we are going through that. Incrementally, we are not looking at any positive trigger for the smaller PSU banks, but State Bank of India is something that we've been liking. It has not really participated as much. So if there is any meaningful correction, I think we should look to buy that rather than trying to get into very small PSU banks.
Okay. All right, Hemang, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate you joining in with that.
Thank you so much.
Okay, let's get a perspective on price action as well. Jay Bala of CashTheChaos.com is joining us. Jay, good to have you here. I think you were spotting a head and shoulders